Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. And if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football. Welcome into the show, everybody. Looky there. Adela. How's it going, Adela? Hello. Mars Jams, Sooner Legends, Mike the Legend, Hank. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the show. Got a few things to talk about tonight. I figured Coach is not going to be here tonight, but we will talk about a little bit about the Super Bowl. Kind of a bummer for me. We'll also get into, apparently, we haven't even had a 12-team playoff yet. Looks like they're already ready to expand. So we'll get into a little bit of that and kind of anything that you guys want to talk about as well. Again, welcome into the show. Glad everybody's in. Check in. Bruce Dawson, what's up, man? Checking in. Glad you're here. Glad everybody's in here. Hey, while you're here, before you go and do anything else, wipe your feet. Hit that like button. Make sure that you know everybody is able to do that. Want to give a shout out to our new sponsor for the show, Mint Mobile. It's really cool. I can't put on our commercial just yet because it hadn't been approved, but it's kind of fun. Those of you who have been in the Discord have already seen it probably, but it's a lot of fun. Really excited about that. Yes, and shout out to Buc-ee's as well. But really excited about our deal with Mint Mobile. Look, you do not have to deal with big wireless anymore and the insane high prices. You can get everything you get from big wireless from Mint Mobile. 3 months, unlimited talk, text, and data just by using our link. Try mintmobile.com/HOF. $45. Set it up on the phone you already got. $15 a month. You pay ahead. This is the best way to go. It's unbelievable. Very, very cool stuff. Get over there. Check that out. It helps the show. It helps your pocketbook. This is a great deal for everybody involved. Got that out of the way. Also, hey, look, DevilDog's Brewing Beans. Jump in there and check that out. If you're a coffee person and you haven't already got on there, I don't know what's up with that. It's a veteran-owned company that serves veterans. Anytime that you make an order, they roast, grind, and ship it same day you make the order, so it guarantees freshness. Unbelievable stuff. They even have a cup for us. It's 6 a.m. Texas still sucks. See the horns down all over it. Love that stuff. So check out all that stuff as well. Hey, the free way to make sure that this show continues going, just hit that like button. We'd appreciate it. Welcome in, Sheila Smith, Bruce Dawson. I think we got some newbies here. Thank you, though, for coming in. We appreciate that. How is everybody doing tonight? Tell me what you guys thought about the Super Bowl. I'm kind of bummed about it, man. I'm a Niner fan. That's 3 freaking Super Bowls in a row that they've lost. And damn it, I'm getting sick of the Chiefs. Just getting sick of the Chiefs. But it is what it is. Patrick Mahomes is that dude. And so it kind of is what it is, man. So, yeah, shout out to Buc-ee's. But, yeah, how's everybody doing tonight? Also, we'll get into a little bit of I've got a video coming out. It has the commercial in it already, so I don't know. I think it should be approved in the morning. I really don't think that I want to put it out there until then. But it's essentially talking about where we had the win totals by FanDuel last week. Crazy, right? 7.5 wins for Oklahoma. They've got 9.5 wins for Mizzou and Ole Miss and all these other folks. I just don't get it. Tell me, guys, what you think about that. Obviously it's a 30-minute video that you can check out tomorrow, unless I get that okay tonight. I may just put it out there anyway, and then if I need to clip it, I will. But I don't really want to do that. I want to make sure that we don't screw up this deal with our new partner. Want to do it as they want to do it. But look, I just think it's kind of weird. You know, to me, you beat Texas. Texas lost. Yeah, I know they got a lot of returning, and the way that he did his returning production on ESPN, that you have that returning production stat. Oklahoma's, I think they're 8th or 9th in the conference, whatever it is, something like that. But they're number 8 overall on defense. And I'm just not that worried about the offense, man. Even with the offensive line, I'm really not that worried. For the under on OU. Hey, let them you know something? And look, this is what I'll tell you, having lived in Vegas for about 15 years, I'll just let you know, it's not always about what they really expect, right? Now, what do you think that has to do with, Hank? Why do you think that people are rolling that money in on Oklahoma and the under? I got to tell you, I think it's wishful thinking. People like Mizzou, I mean, if you look at the 3 years that Drink was there before this past season, when they had a cupcake schedule, and they got so lucky, right? Well, Vegas is getting paid, yeah. But here's the thing. They're going to put the over-under at a place that they know it's going to get action. So if you put it at 7.5, don't you think Oklahoma fans are going to beat the crap out of that too? The Sharps will beat it. But if you can get it to where it's, you know, you've got all these, who's betting that, you think? Who do you think's betting it? It's going to be Missouri fans. It's going to be maybe Texas fans. Although you would think that Texas would know better, right? You know, the same people betting the over on Texas. And that's the whole thing, is like, honestly, they lost their whole D-line. You know, they lost their whole D-line, their D-line coach. They lost every skill guy aside from the 2 running backs that took over for Brooks. Brooks is gone. Look, I know that they replaced him. Nyblack is really good. I think he's going to be a really good tight end. The thing is do they mesh right away? You know, now they have a JV schedule, so the possibilities tend to be that I guess you could kind of half-ass get through it. Aside from that Michigan game in week 2, although they're losing people too. Guys, I just think that in the end, you got to look at this in terms of, this is a money play for Vegas. This is and this is an opportunity for people to sit there and blow the narrative out. But it's also an opportunity for Oklahoma to absolutely just say, okay, hate on us, sleep on us, and see what happens. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Sooner Legends podcast, if you guys haven't checked that one out, on the first game of the century between Nebraska and Oklahoma in 71, or is that the first one? I think it was. Well, hey, that was phenomenal. I loved hearing Coach Switzer talking about that. Just love it. I just don't think that Texas is going to be. Look, first off, until Sark, he had to win 10 once for him to win it twice. But I want to see you do it again. Even though, again, he's got a JV schedule, I still feel like there's a possibility they lose 3. I really do. And I don't see any way that they win 11, because Oklahoma already was the tougher of the 2 teams, the more physical of the 2 teams in the Red River this season, period. They beat them up in the trenches when they shouldn't have, and they've got probably a better defensive line coming back. The guys that they lost, they were kind of holdovers anyway, right? They still got Trace Ford. They've still got, you know, Sweat from or what's his name? What's his name from Tennessee? Why do I always forget his name? Damn. How many natties have they won in that time frame? One. Standing by your pick. What pick? Which pick is that, Hank? Tell me what it is. Sheila, welcome into the show. Is this your first time in? If so, make sure that you hit that subscriber button. We got 11 people in here so far. Come on. Let's talk. Hey, and the other thing that there was to talk about, I can't believe that they didn't invite Drake Stoops to the combine. Dude had 10 touchdowns this year. I get it that he's probably not going to get drafted. And that's okay, but he killed it at the Senior Bowl. I think that he's already proven that maybe he doesn't matter if he goes or not. He's got the pro day at OU that he can still go to. They're going to find a place for him to play. He's way too much like Danny Amendola and, some of those, those guys like Julian Edelman and, all those dudes. I can't believe, though, that they didn't allow him to go. It's all good, though, man. No, generally a lurker. Well, welcome in. Who are you a fan of? Are you a college football fan of the Sooners or just a college football fan generally? His pro day will be attended. Oh, yeah. I mean, it will. Look, I think that he's one of those guys that he's a specialty player that they're going to go, somebody's going to find a place for him. Welcome, though. Yeah, Hall of Fame. Hey, folks, if you have not already, and we're already actually over there right now. He's a Welker clone. Yeah, I like that, Hank. Get over to our new network. It's called the Hall of Fame Sooner Network. Jump over there, hit that subscriber there. I'm trying to get all of our OU stuff moved into that area. We want to start putting it in both places, but eventually I want to move all the OU stuff to there. That way it kind of helps out with the algorithm a little bit, just to let you guys know. I mean, I know everybody that's in here right now is just Boomer and hello, people. Hello, Ronald. What's up, bud? Ronald Heffman. Good to see you, man. Yeah, but we're going to be, it kind of helps out with the algorithm if we really stay focused on what it is. So on this channel, me and Coach like to talk about everything. We're going to talk about everything tonight. But talking about some of the Sooner stuff, we can always clip the Sooner stuff, move it to that one, do some more recruiting stuff there. I'm not going to go crazy on recruiting like those other guys do, but I will have some recruiting stuff and doing some more things like that. And I agree. Boomer baby. I love it. There you go, Sheila. Bring it on. Love it. Welcome in. Drake getting snubbed is a travesty. Hey, man, he balled out. And here's the thing. I kind of think of it in terms of part of it was what I was saying on that returning production, right? Offensively, really, they lost some guys off of the line and they lost Dylan. The rest of them pretty much coming back. Tawi, that's not one of the guys that, yeah, he had some production, but there's other guys that are going to be better than that. I believe that, right? I also not that worried about that offensive line. Not that worried about it. BB, Big Bill, knows what he's doing. He's got some dogs coming in. I think that they're going to be in good shape. I also believe that if this defense becomes what we expect it to become this year, year 3, makes that big jump, right? Then you're going to find that, hey, you don't have to be perfect on offense. You don't have to be in the top 10 necessarily. If you can get in the top 20 or 30 on the defensive side of it, I think you're going to be in good shape. I really do. And that's a good thing to not have to have Jackson go and win games for you, right? If he can go out there and play relaxed and just, hey, if we can get in the 20s, we're going to be good to go. That's awesome. And that'll probably make him play better, less pressure, right? I'm not as worried about that whole deal. What's up, Robbie? Good to see you, bud. Glad to see you in here. Welcome to the woodshed. But yeah, yeah, man. Hey, yeah, thanks, Mike. Appreciate you subbed. Everybody should go ahead and sub. It's the Hall of Fame Sooner Network. It's at HOF-Sooners. At HOF-Sooners. wipe your feet. So, hey, Kim, what's up, buddy? Welcome into the show. Welcome into the show. Man, did you guys hear about Jordy Ball? Got hurt. Freaking blew her, I think her ACL or whatever, right away. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. You're right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that he's one of those guys that, look, man, if you're either built to play at that level or you're not. And they were talking about it while that Senior Bowl practices. They were like, man, he runs better routes than anybody else. And that's what you got to do when you're that size. You got to be the guy that does everything perfect. But he's got some speed, he's got hands, and he is a dog, you know? How much, if any, does Stone and Jackson get on the field? I think they both get a lot of playing time. You know, Ronald, I think so too. I don't know that they start. I believe that G-Baby, Grayson Halton, is probably ready to go. You've seen him, I mean, building himself up with Schmitty this time, in this amount of time so far. I think that you're probably going to see some big things out of him this year. I would also say that Adebawore, PJ, I don't see how you keep him off the field at all. I just don't see how you do it. I kind of feel like it's just going to be one of them deals. Yeah, Jordy Ball, that sucks. Even though she went to Nebraska and everything, hey, man, she's part of 2 national championship teams at OU. She's a Sooner in my book. That's a sucky thing to have happen. You go home and blow your knee out like that. That sucks. So hopefully Jordy's going to recover okay, and she'll come back to just as good as ever. Obviously, she'll get a red shirt out of this, I think. But that sucks, man. Sucks. Hated hearing that. Hated seeing that. As far as these guys go, Stone and Jackson, and I also think that Nigel Smith and even Danny Okoye, I think that really all 5 of them could get some play, depending, because here's the deal. You have to have that depth in this league, particularly with the schedule that Oklahoma has. If I had any understanding about this 7.5 win total, right, it's that when you look at it, they play all the best teams from last year. Texas doesn't. Texas plays 2 or 1 from the SEC. Oklahoma has to play Texas. Oklahoma has to play Alabama, LSU, Mizzou, whatever. Ole Miss. Tennessee, and you got to believe that Nico is probably going to make them better. I still don't see Oklahoma really losing to Tennessee at home. I just don't see it, but you never know. I think that's a pretty good game, and I believe a lot more in Josh than a lot of people do. I think some of those guys are going to be in there. Yeah, we are dual streaming. Yes, correct. I'm trying to get people over there. So, yeah, man. But look, I believe that in the end, you're probably with. Especially Jackson, man, that dude, he's so big. But man, I went back and I was looking at some of his film, and he is both of them. They just wreck the game. If you're not double teaming one of them, they were just eating. Look at what they did in that game, that Hawaiian bowl game. That, man, they just killed it. So exciting stuff, man. Really. Let's see who we got here. Whoa. Yeah, I just think that in the end, you're probably gonna get a little bit of all of them. But I would like to see. I like to see Grayson Halton, G-Baby, get in there and get it done. I think Nigel's gonna get an opportunity. He's explosive as well. He's big. I think he can move inside and out. And I just think that you want to keep some of these guys fresh. So you're going to have to move some of these guys in and out. And I would say the same thing. All of them, every one of them. Right. I just think that, all 5 of these guys that are coming in have an opportunity to play. I'm excited about PJ Adebawore. I'm excited about what we're going to see from Peyton Bowen in here too. You got to be happy about the fact that Billy Bowman's back. Danny Stutzman's back. Huge. There's no two ways around it. So that's big. I just think that they're sleeping on the wrong football team. They're picking, as usual, the wrong Red River rival to back. Because I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. Yeah, I mean, he's a little smaller, but he's fast and he's pretty fearless, man. If you watch him play, I mean, he looked really good against Iowa, and Iowa had the one thing they had, good defense. He lit their asses up. I like him. Say boomer and happy Valentine's Day to my woman Andrea. She's listening. Well, happy Valentine's Day, Andrea. Excited for you guys. Hey, that's tomorrow, bro. I don't have a Valentine this year. Just you guys. Just you guys. Paper chumps again. Hey, man, they win the offseason every year. And that's the thing is like everybody else, when they go heavy in the portal, there's questions. Well, you never know if it's going to work or not. Blah, blah, blah. When Texas does it, it's going to be fine. Sark will do great. The dude's won 10 games once in 10 years. Once in 10 years. Yeah. Yep, they are. I like all these guys. And Burks is freaking, man. That's the thing. On offense, that's what I said. I don't think that there's so many playmakers that you don't have to do anything crazy. I think if he can get good at being on time, and that's the main thing, is the speed of the game is what you could tell he wasn't really ready for. We saw some things out of him in the BYU game that in BYU wasn't great, but I love seeing him check. He's reading the defenses and seeing what he needs to see, which I love that. But I would say that he's going to have to, you don't want to see him be behind, get the ball out. I know that's something that Seth and Joe John are working with. I think he's going to be good to go. Also, here's the other thing. As much as I love the fact that we are deadly at receiver, pretty much at every spot. Here's the thing, like as much as I love Drake Stoops, and do not take this the wrong way, folks. I'm not trying to badmouth Drake, but there's not a guy on that field that isn't a better at receiver that isn't a better athlete than Drake. That can't take it to that. Drake's that possession guy that you need to have. Love it. But any of the rest of these guys can get it in the house right now. What's up, Unc? What are you doing, man? Where you been? McCullough and PJ need significant playtime. I agree. Unc, what do you think, man? What are you thinking about the totals? What do you think about the total they put out there? 6.5 some places 7.5. I think it's probably to entice bets, but I do believe Jackson needs to get great with the slant. Hey, listen, you've got guys that can get it in the house, and with Burks, like we said, that guy is a burner. You're going to get Andrell back. That guy's fast. That's the thing. I feel like a lot of the production that they didn't get was because some of these guys were out. You didn't really see much of Brennan Thompson until the end of the year. A couple of throws here and there, that they got to him. I just feel like this is something that Jackson can be brought along slow. You've got really good running backs. I think Taylor Tatum is liable to do some big things in year one. But the biggest thing for me, I'm telling you, Devon Mitchell to me is a guy that people ain't going to be ready for him. You go from a top 10 guy, you reclass, and they put you in the 200s, people ain't paying attention. Either you're a first rounder or you're not. And this dude's a 250-pound monster. Oof. He's going to be ready. I love that. Especially for a first-time quarterback, first-time starter at this level, a guy like that is a security blanket. You got two other pretty good tight ends as well. They're shoring that up. And look, Joe John, he was pretty damn good himself. He knows what he's doing when he's teaching those guys. I think these things are going to kind of work themselves out, don't you? Unc, what do you think about that? What do you think about the number? Did you see that? Yeah, I knew it. I knew you were going to say that. I think that's exactly what it is. I think it's easy to get on that narrative. Pate isn't saying it. There's some guys that are smart enough to not say it. Right now, they're including Texas in that too. But I think I think that they have bigger holes to fill than Oklahoma does. And I know they did really well in the portal, but again, that's not a guarantee. Ooh, Zion Reagan's too. Yes. Legend Mike, you are the man. That's correct. I agree. I agree. Yeah, I just think that it's, McCullough. But look, in the defense, I feel like they're going to make a big step forward this year. I just do. And if you can get a little run heavy and kind of be a little more methodical in your offensive game planning, short passes, march down the field, try to keep, speed the game up a little bit as far as get the clock running, that could help, right? Yeah. There will be some deep routes. I don't think there's any two ways around that. You got too many guys that are freaking just burners. I mean, think about Brennan Thompson, man. Nobody's running with that cat. Freaking 10-200. That's insane. That's insane. They've got guys, and look, we haven't seen a ton from. Look, we've got guys that are. Reagan's is another one of those guys. They've got some guys that are coming in here at receiver as freshmen, and then you've got. We haven't even really talked that much about the freshmen from last year, right? There's some guys coming in that are going to make a big impact as well. And I still think, like I said, I want to see a little more tight end action. You can use a Jermaine Gresham type, and that's kind of what this kid looks like, man. It's kind of what Devon looks like. He's just a stud like that, right? Yeah. But I think, short passes, let them get in space a little bit, let them create stuff. And I think that that's the best thing you can do when you start looking at some of these guys. They're probably better in space. They're not necessarily straight line speed, but more lateral quickness, stuff like that, Don't turn over the football, run the ball well. This ought to be a good year for Gavin Sawchuk. This ought to be a good year, an opportunity for some of these other guys to step up. Look, I wouldn't be super surprised if you saw Xavier Robinson getting some love too, because he just likes to run hard. That between the tackle stuff would be great. Taylor Tatum, you put him in space, he's gonna break away. That dude is the real deal. The real deal. So excited about it, man. Excited about it. Hey, Unc, where's K Chris at? Where's K Chris at? I haven't seen him much. What else y'all got? Let Gibson stretch those. Yeah, man. Again, I can sit here and talk about 10 of them, and there's still more. I mean, you know what I mean? There's one guy after another, right? Just the receiving core is unreal. But I think the offensive line, if they can get going in the run blocking scheme, and I think they will, I think it's going to be a good deal. I think it is. I just think you don't have to put too much on Jackson's shoulders, but when you need him to hit a deep ball, he can do it. And Unc, I know you love it because you won't see any more underthrows. That's the thing. He can afford to be late on the deep ball because he can still get it out there. I don't know that there's too many guys that can outrun his pass. Shout out to Bucky's. Kid from Cali will be huge. You're talking, Devon Mitchell. Yeah. Good problem to have. Absolutely. I agree. But we know that as much as I'm a fan of Dylan Gabriel, but I also think that you know, at this point, he's gone. There's nothing you can do about that. And the upside that Jackson has far exceeds what Dylan would have. And that's no hate towards Dylan. I think he's probably going to do a hell of a job at Oregon. You know, they've got a good offensive coordinator there as well. I like their chances and what they look like, right? But with Jackson, he can chuck it out there. He can chuck it out there, man. Yeah. Hey, look, can you imagine? Hey, Jonah, there's some dudes, man. There's some dudes. They're liable to look, and that's the thing. If you can go out there and you win 9 or 10, you win 9. You're in. If you win 8 and you're really close in a couple, but you win 9, maybe you have a chance to get into the playoff. It's not going to hurt anything. And again, I still feel like you're probably a year away from your best football team anyway. Because even though we expect some kind of contribution from these guys on the D-line, it won't be the same kind of contribution you should probably get from them after a year with Schmitty, right? That's when you start seeing Okoye, and then you see another year out of PJ, and wow. You know what I mean? My concern really on the defense is more linebackers at this point. I hope that Stutzman can stay healthy. Kip Lewis needs to make a step forward. Kobe McKenzie needs to take a step forward. And damn it, our boy, he's got to get better, folks. You already know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to sit here and dog him. He's got to get better. Love the guy. Think he's a hell of an athlete. Stop screwing it up. You got to be better. Whether Stutzman's out there or not, this is year 3. It's your time, right? Peyton Bowen is going to establish himself as one of the best defensive backs in the country. I believe that. I think that you could see a lot from Gentry. I was saying this last week, and this is really kind of what I see coming. And I wish K. Chris was here or Cooper, somebody, and talk about this a little bit. I really think, yeah. K. Chris making moves, and yes, no one will miss DG underthrowing people. No, I get it. Bro, beat the crap out of that. Yeah, Jaron. That's who I was talking about, Sheila. He's got to get better. He's got to get better. He's got to stop making mistakes. And it feels like it's not really, it's not that he doesn't know. I think he gets in his own head, you know? He gets in his own head. If he doesn't have him there to if he doesn't have Danny there to make sure that, double check with him or whatever, kind of is what it is. Hey, man, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. I want to see him get better. And I think Kanak is unbelievably talented, man. He's a stud. Straight up. So, worst comes to worst, man. Just go like your hair's on fire and get it done. Yeah, easiest money out there, no doubt, Kim. Yeah, hammer that thing. Yeah. I hadn't checked to see what it is in Vegas yet. And I don't know if they put it out there on the totals just yet, but I would think that it's probably I don't even understand 7.5. I don't. I think it's more like 8.5 at the lowest. I could see it at 8.5, but I still think that 9 wins. I believe they're going to get 9 wins. Yeah, he is. But we also, as well as Kip played a lot of the time last year, it wasn't all the time. I want to see him play better as well. What I was getting at on the secondary guys, I think that you're probably going to see a lot out of Kendall Dobie. He may end up being more of your cheetah guy. I think that with Deshaun McCulley, you might end up seeing him play more edge rusher, just getting to the court because he's that good at it. He just seems to be able to get and get pressure on quarterbacks. If he was struggling with the reads and stuff like that in a way that Kendall Dobie wasn't, let Kendall play it. I think Josiah and Makari Vickers are probably going to have a big season this year and kind of step up as well. I got to tell you, I'm kind of glad that Reggie Pearson is graduated and out. As much as I enjoyed watching him hit, I did not enjoy watching him blow coverages all the time. Send K Chris a link. Hell, I'll send him one right now. Done. K Chris. Tell him I sent it on. It's in there. I sent it to his Twitter DMs. What else we got? So maybe he'll get back in here in a second, but let's so apparently, according to Ross Dellinger, senior, he's at Yahoo Sports Illustrated guy as well. Yeah, the Super Bowl was a good game, man. I hate it though, man. I'm a Niner fan, and I'm sick of them freaking losing that game. But I mean, you got to take your hat off to freaking Pat Mahomes. And I knew when they went up 10 and then they didn't score on that next one, when Casey still didn't score, and then they didn't like put the nail in them, I knew they were screwed. He just comes back from that stuff easily. All right, so they were talking about today. We'll get back into that in a second. Something about the Big 12, but apparently the joint venture that the Big 10 SEC announced February is starting to look like it's going to turn into, they're going to immediately do some stuff that's going to change college football. Creation of a new athlete compensation model, expected overhaul of the CF, the college football playoff, and revenue distribution as well. And then expansion of the men's basketball tournament again. Jeez, how many teams they need? Jim Phillips is involved in that. But in the end, I think that what you're starting to see, Sankey and Tony Petitti, SEC and Big Ten, underscored the need for an advisory board to be as small as possible and quickly reach solutions for urgent matters such as the multi-billion-dollar House versus NCAA. This is a big problem, guys. This is a big problem. The House versus NCAA could bring the whole thing down, because now that you're starting to see these guys are now getting NIL and ability to make NIL money, when used to you couldn't even have a job. You couldn't make money. Now these guys, they weren't able to make money off their name, their image and likeness, and they're looking for billions and billions of dollars. These guys that played in the past. It's a scary thing, and it could be really bad. 2025 class best of all time. Could be. Hey, man, we're going to find out. There's a lot of time we're in early February. I'm not going to get too high or low about recruiting just yet. Yeah, man. So they did kind of merge. Well, ESPN and Fox, and then basically it's the SEC and Big Ten. But ESPN and Fox, along with Time Warner, I don't know if you guys, we talked about this a little bit maybe last week, but they're actually coming together on the streaming platform to where it's all in one place, which I like that. I'm surprised by it, but I like that. That also kind of lets you know that I don't know that they're in a huge hurry to like gobble up the other leagues. And this is something that Sankey was saying earlier. Minutes before the SEC and Big Ten's announcement, Sankey reached out to Tim Phillips and Brett Yormark, along with Charlie Baker, to alert them. Tony and Greg want to go deeper into a think tank with their key stakeholders about the future of collegiate athletics. There's no pride of authorship here as long as there's communication continues. Brett Yormark is going to be involved in some of this stuff. He just is. He just knows enough about entertainment and sports that he's a good guy to have around. And he's the look, man. Guaranteed, the Big 12 would be dead as the pack is right now if not for Brett Yormark. Plain and simple. He can swim in these waters with Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti. He's done it, right? Anyway, projections right now they're looking at it's going to be about 50 plus million for the first year in the SEC. For everybody, 45 to 50 million. You're looking at about 90 million within 3 years in both the Big 10 and the SEC. But the Big 12 and the ACC are only going to be at about half of that because of that football revenue. And you're going to see a lot more of these football programs that are going to be on. They're really going to be the ones that are the SEC and the Big 10 are going to probably get a lot more teams. I think that what they need to do, though, they've got to get rid of the G4, G5, whatever. Got to get them out. I don't think it's good for them. I don't want to kill them in revenue. I think that they need revenue in some way, but I think that you can help them make revenue if you do another playoff. Because there's a lot of good programs in G5 and FCS that would, and I mean, the FCS playoff does well. You know, it's good football. If you, Blue from the Blue Bloods, he's been on the show a couple of times. He talks about, he said, I think that the G5 doesn't have any business playing the FCS because the FCS will kick their butt. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but I think that what he's talking about at the high level, they're really good. Probably better than any of the G5. And I could probably see that. But I do think that the one thing that saves the Big 12 right now is their basketball. And I think that that's what Yormark is really trying the hardest to do, is to be able to go, hey, we're going to start selling you this product instead of just giving it to you as part of the football program because we have to. I think it's a smart idea, particularly when if you look at the Big 12, middle of the pack, they're going to get what? They're probably going to get 12, 13 teams in the NCAA tournament because they are better than the rest of the country. You've got a few good teams in the other conferences. Aside from that, especially once Arizona gets there next year, and Arizona State too. Utah, BYU got better. They've been really good all season. I think that Utah they've always been good. I don't know what's going on with them the last 4, 5, 10 years, but they should be good. But I really think that that's going to change things. In the end, you're probably looking at expanded playoffs, which I don't know that you need to expand it. What are you guys thinking about that? Do you want to see them move from 12 to 16? Like we continue to hear that that's going to happen, that they're going to go to 12 to 16. It could be as early as like 2026. I don't know that that's necessary, but they're going to do, if they keep the G5 in, then you almost have to, because otherwise Sankey and them aren't going to want nothing to do with it. But I don't think that the networks want to see blowouts like that where it's 60 to 63 to 3. Which again, I'll say this again about Florida State. Shut up already. They got started up about Nick Saban. TJ he's killing me on that. TJ Pittenger. I love the dude, but man, it's to the point now that I feel like he's just doing it for clicks. Because the second that they announced that Saban was going to be on ESPN and on Game Day and all that, he was like 100% they knew that he was retiring, and that's why they put them in the playoff. Come on, man. He's actually won this shit a bunch. Florida State, bunch of whiny bitches. At initial step. Okay, so over the last 3 weeks, 2 separate meetings, high-ranking college leaders took the initial step in exploring significant change to the basketball tournament and the playoff. Apparently, they're commissioners of all the big conferences, and even the Pac-12 had dialogue with Baker on January 25th about their wish to examine NCAA tournament expansion. Separately, in a meeting of the CFP Management Committee in Dallas, Big Ten and SEC leaders opened dialogue with the other 8 commissioners and Notre Dame on their intent to see CFP's revenue distribution model and voting structure change. Yeah, you knew that was coming. The power leagues together team up to push the NCAA to grow the basketball tournament. The 2 richest leagues are joining forces to modify its football counterpart. Let's see. If you contribute more, you want more. Yeah, get it. Oh. Yormark saying stuff like, I want the best teams competing for the national championship. No different than the Big Ten and the SEC. Hey, look here, looky here. Welcome to the show, K. Chris. What up, God? Where you been,
man? You said what?
Where you been?
Man, here, there, everywhere, just doing all these random things or whatnot. You rub the bottle, you rub the bottle or whatnot, the genie comes out, right? So I'm here.
Yeah. Unc said you've been on your hustle, man. What's up? Making that money or what?
Yeah, pretty much, man.
Getting people divorced and shit.
That too.
Breaking them up, man. Stinging. Welcome into the show, man. Been a while.
It's been a while. It's definitely been a while. What you talking about?
Well, been talking about a lot of stuff, but I wanted to talk a little bit about this. What do you think about the whole deal with the win totals that you have from FanDuel and all that stuff? That's where we were on it.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. 7.5 for OU is really, really low, man. They're not giving
some people got them at 6.5. I think FanDuel has them at 6.5 right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I saw somebody had them at 7.5, and I just thought that was crazy. I was looking at the schedule and I was just like, okay, well, I think you clean house your first 4 games, and then that 5th game is the one that's tricky because that's the one that kind of gives you a test of real SEC play. And sure. Well, no, I wouldn't even say that because Tennessee's going to give you a good taste of SEC play, but Auburn's going to be a tricky game because that's the trap game in between per se of Tennessee and then Texas as well. See what I'm saying? So you definitely are going to have to be on your P's and Q's this year. I mean, yeah, this year especially. But I mean, people are talking about the week in and week out grind, and Texas and OU fans are underestimating that. I think it's bullcrap because at the end of the day, what you've seen for the better part of 10 years and in the last probably decade or so is that it's been very top heavy in the SEC. And there's always that 1 to 2 teams, those 1 to 2 teams that catch lightning in a bottle during the season. So my question is why can't that be OU? And hell, dare I even say, why couldn't that be Texas either? Especially with OU looking at what they're returning and what the prospects are for them going into this season.
Well, my thing is this, and here was the question I'm asking. I mean, we're looking at Mizzou, and look, they've lost a lot. I know that they brought back some guys on the offensive side. They're in good shape, but they lost a lot on defense. They lost their whole defensive staff. Do you see them going and really be, because they got them at 9.5? You really think that that's where they are?
I think it's kind of where for a lot of teams, it's going to really depend on like navigation, right? And Missouri is one of those teams where you have to navigate those schedules. I think for OU is kind of a hybrid where I think that you have the talent, but you still have to manage your season as well. Yeah. Whereas the expectation for a Georgia, for a Bama is a little bit different. And now, honestly, sitting here in the offseason, you can actually pretty much put Ole Miss into that conversation as well as just being a very uber talented team that should be able to just win, right?
But it's time for them to actually prove that they can do that shit, though.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's time. Basically, think of it like this right here. Everybody on here will get this reference. Think of whenever you were kids and you were playing 21 outside, right? You were playing basketball or you were playing one-on-one, and the rules were you had to confirm it, right? Just because you hit game shot, that first game shot, you had to confirm it. Right. So this is basically what you're asking a lot of these teams to do, is just to come out here and confirm it yet again. But we've seen this time and time again in the SEC. Mississippi State has that year with Dak and then comes back and it's a dud. South Carolina has success and has one of their best seasons they've had in probably a decade. Dud. Right, Tennessee has one of the best years. Yeah, Tennessee has one of the best years they've had in a while. People are raving about their defense, but you look at Joe Milton and all the rest of that stuff, another dud, right?
Yeah, they had a quarterback. You said it.
Look, I've said it, but I mean, I'm just trying to say that, you know, this whole folklore, this whole SEC bias that we have, it's real, but to a certain extent. You see what I'm saying? Because it only affects those teams. I mean, you know, as far as I'm concerned, Kentucky is still middle of the road. We know Vanderbilt is going to be terrible. I mean, it's just basically how you navigate your season. You're
going to have a tough time. I think that not only they don't have a lot of talent there, but they also have a really tough schedule.
That's the reason why. If I may do just a little quick plug, guys, if you haven't seen it or checked it out, go check out my video that I did with Barry B-Wise Fitness about the 5 reasons Jackson Arnold will be successful in 2024. And we talk about a lot of different things. But one thing that I'll point out in that video that we talked about was, now that we're moving to the SEC, one thing that we would like to see from Beatenbow is moving away from, well, you know, let's tinker, let's mess with the offensive line these first couple of games, to we need to hit it rolling as soon as the season starts. We need to hit the ground rolling, because we don't have time to sit there and play catch up and try to play with teams and tinker and do things like that and try new things out. We need to be rolling, because it's going to be time, because I can guarantee you that atmosphere for Tennessee is going to be electric. But when we go to Auburn that very next week, they have nothing to lose. What are they really playing for? Right. This next season is basically, it's a confirmation season for them. It's a confirmation to confirm that they are on track, basically making progress to where they want to get eventually, which is probably still another 2 or 3.5 years away. Right. So I mean, that's kind of what you're facing. So there's some transitions, there's some things that you want to see, but no, I mean, to the original point, 6.5, 7.5 is way too low in my opinion for OU, especially with what you're bringing back on defense and what you're adding. And then I think offensively, I mean, just the guys that you're returning as well, it's going to be really interesting to see, man, because there's not. Coming into this, you hear about the Georgia defense, but let me ask you this: when you have Nick Six out there, I'm just gonna call nicknames. Nick Six, you got Gibson out there. You're gonna have Deion Burks now. Right. You're gonna have Farouk. You're gonna have Petaway. You're gonna have guys, the freshman guys that are gonna come in as well. And I think I said Gibson and all them as well. But I mean, Andrell Anthony when he comes back too. So the fact of the matter is that, you know, you hear about the Georgia defenses, and the Bama defenses, but now
Georgia defense only has 55% coming back. They're number 80 in the country in production.
Well, not only that, but I think my point with that would be just, I don't know, is there a shutdown corner in the SEC right now? Is there a corner that you can point to? I mean, there's a bunch of DBs that we can point to and say, hey, he's pretty damn good, but are we saying
they got to take a step though to be that guy?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just 6.5.
One isn't going to do it though. That's the thing. When you go up against this receiving corps, and not even talking about some of the freshmen, but I think some of these freshmen are the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Zion Reagan's that guy. Have you seen the shit that dude does? He's unbelievable. And then Devon Mitchell, he comes in looking like Jermaine Gresham right now.
Yeah.
So there's, you know, I was just saying earlier, I don't think that you have to have Jackson doesn't have to come out here and be the savior because he has so many weapons at his disposal. Taylor Tatum is probably going to get some run. You know, Gavin Sawchuk should do very well. Get the ball to any of these guys in space though, and see what happens.
Yeah, no, you're going to be doing that. And I think you're going to see a more aggressive play style as far as getting north and south more than what you were, you know, this past season with a lot of the east-west stuff. So I think that's going to be something that is that needs to be accounted for as well. But I mean, hey, I'm excited about it. Honestly, I like it this way. I want OU to play with a chip on their shoulder. We saw what they were able to do this past season. 10 wins. And to be honest with you, the 3 losses that you had were pretty much boiled down to the same mistakes that you saw the year prior. You saw the progression, but you saw some things you just like, okay, we still have to fix that, right? But at the same time, 10 wins, right? Chip on your shoulder, kind of a prove it year. Let's show everybody that, hey, this is what we're going to do. Highest we got was number 6 in the polls. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, like, hey, I think we're in the conversation of getting back to where we want to be, but we're in the ballpark at least, excuse me. But at the same time, no, I mean, I think that's just way too low for us. I mean, I'm no knock on them. I understand what's going on, but all this talk about, you know, Sark is number 2 or 3 coach in the SEC. I'm like, okay, well, he's 1-2 against OU. I think that's something to be big about because the only time that they've beaten OU is whenever we didn't have a quarterback, right? But on top of that, I mean, look, I get it. They made it to the playoffs and all the rest of that stuff. But at the same time, they're losing.
Caught a break there too. They caught a break there too. If they'd have played OU in the championship game, they'd probably get beat.
No, I wholeheartedly believe that. But at the same time, I think right now I'm still trying to figure out, okay, is Kelvin Banks going to line up as a D tackle next year? Because that is the room that I'm most worried about right now. I mean, that was the heart and soul of that defense. You couldn't run on them, so you've had to pass. And then as athletic as they think they're getting in the back end and stuff with some of these guys, losing out on Jabbar was a big thing. I thought he was all but Texas, prize DB they were going to get. Now, I know I've heard optimism and belief in some of the younger cats that are going to step up and stuff. And I have no doubt that they'll probably step up. But from what I saw last year, that was definitely the weakness of their defense. Whereas they have improved. You believe they improved with the cat from UTSA and then Colin Simmons coming there to play edge. Now you feel like they have that. And then I think Vasic is going to be big for them. I still think Vasic is really good. I didn't lose any. He didn't tarnish his rep with me just because he went to Texas. I mean, I think the kid is still talented. So you think do that, and then you got Acuna, and I guess you got some other kids that you'd be excited about. But when you look at what they lost offensively and what Isaiah Bunn, I'm just going to be honest with you, it's a go route guy. I mean, if you go and watch that offense, it's no wonder why he was open. A lot, especially the way that he was. I mean, the guy's fast, but I'll say this right here. Milroe kept a lot of those plays alive, and Milroe extended a lot of plays with his legs because a lot of people respected that. So if you go and watch that offense, go to like I don't think Kentucky is a good game. It's one of the home games they play. I can't remember what team they were playing. It was a home game they were playing. And you just watched him. I mean, they were just killing them on those orbit and basically just those little go or those little skinny posts and stuff with him. Because simply, Wichita was just running out of the box the whole time. Everybody's keeping up, trying to come up, and then boom. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. It just seems like to me they lost a lot, and you didn't really add a lot to what you did. So I'm not. Yeah. So I mean, I don't really
think
get
as far as like as immediate impact guys, I know that they added some guys that they think are immediate impact. I don't think Colin Simmons is probably good. I think he's really, really good. Man, we just watched PJ come in and not really play a whole lot in year one and not really be ready to play in year one. You know, towards the end of the year, he looked like he probably was a little more so. We don't know what's going to happen with the. I feel like Stone and Jackson probably the most ready, to come in is because of where they were.
Mm-hmm.
And you might get some contributions in some of those places. I would suspect that G Baby and some of these guys are going to be good. But not only did you lose the heart and soul of your defensive line, but you lost the defensive line coach.
Yeah.
The guy that recruits it, the guy that, and you let him go to another SEC program. I think that's going to bite Sark in the ass.
Well, the biggest thing is that Sark does have experience coaching in the SEC, but that's what, I mean, come on, all those first rounders that were, yeah, crazy amount of first rounders on the team. But no, I mean, I'm not saying that it's out of the. I would not be totally surprised if they found a lot of success, meaning that their team
right now, schedule, they better freaking win 9.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. So the optics, the clear optics on obviously the opposing side are going to say, hey, Texas is very talented. They're one of the most talented teams in the nation, out even in the SEC, right? So you'll say, okay, I'll give you that. But when you come to for me, I'm just like, well, I don't know, losing that's a lot, because I've seen Texas with those guys, and I've seen Texas
AD
with
Mitchell, Xavier Worthy. I mean, AD didn't really start coming into the biggest part of the season. He was much better after Red River than he was before it.
Very factual. That's factual, because I agree with that comment, because
what if it takes him a while to get rid to these guys to get into the groove? I just don't feel, and I think I like Amari Nyblack. I think he's going to be really good at tight end. He's already shown that he's a really good tight end. I don't know. The thing about Quinn, I like Quinn to an extent. I think he's soft, man. I think when in his head he's soft. He gets in his own head easily. And I'm not sure that Sark trusts him all that much.
No,
you can't be trusting freaking Manning.
Yeah, but I think for me, what it boils down to, and I said it last year and I'll say it again, you have to do two things whenever you come out there and play them, right? You have to, one, take away the cute stuff. Got to take away the cute stuff. And when I say cute stuff, we all know the play that's going to come, all right? When they do that little play action pass with the running back and the running back is going out there for the screen, stop that, Let them know. Be and then also be physical with them. Hit them in the mouth,
That's right.
But I mean, I think you do those things and you really put it on them, and you just go from there. Because but like I said, it wouldn't shock me if either OU or Texas did have success. All the things I've said about them, I know they have stuff to say about us as well, and so I'm not doubting that. But I mean, the thing is that I think that coming in there, I don't see how we would not. I don't see how either team wouldn't be able to have success. Obviously, we could talk about their schedule and all the rest of that stuff, and I think we've done that enough for everybody to understand. They have a very soft schedule, at least coming in, opposed to the gauntlet that we have. But at the same time, I don't think either program is scared of what they're going to face. Now, the only game that I would say I would tell Texas fans, hey, y'all can't lose that. Not only for y'all's sake, but for our sake as well, because we don't want to hear that shit. It would be Texas A&M. Y'all got to go out there and curb stomp them, because
you ain't lying.
You got to. I'm sorry, you got to do that. Same thing you did at Texas Tech. Y'all got to do that.
Speaking of Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Speaking of Texas A&M, did you hear what a boy said the other day?
What he say?
That A&M was the flagship school in Texas.
Oh, that's what Elko said?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. A flagship school, right? The NIL school. That's what they are, the NIL school.
Flagship University of the state of Texas, he said.
I don't know, man. Look.
Well, you do know it is not.
I already know. I'm just saying,
closer to the flagship school of the state of Texas than they are.
Look, I hate Texas with a passion, and Nick, Steven, everybody knows that. Everybody I do pods with, all y'all know how I feel about Texas, but I would definitely say,
flagship school.
It ain't, yeah. Texas or maybe TCU here and there from some years.
I gotta tell you though, man, that is 1st. I love it that Elko did that. He's like, hey, you know. And the conversation was about high school recruits and stuff, and the coaches. That coaches association is huge, right? They hated Jimbo. He needed to come out there, and I know he's been doing the rounds trying to make sure he got Terry Bussey. You got to give him love. I mean, he was able to save that. They don't really have anybody on the staff that was left over, really.
Who's the quarterback? Oh, I guess it'd be Weidman, right?
I think so, yeah.
Man, I mean, that's kind of my only thing. Colin Klein does not, as Ty would say, Colin Klein does not move the needle for me. I think
me neither. And the thing is like, think about it. They've got them at 8.5.
But the problem with what I just said, though, here's the problem, is that even though he doesn't necessarily move the needle, he doesn't call a bad game. He doesn't ever really call
games,
a bad
bro.
game.
He doesn't win games.
I'm not. But that's what I'm saying. Like he is an above average play caller, and that's just fine. That's fine. And you know why that's fine, because that is the perfect marriage, perfect union for Elko. Because he could go either way. Elko could either fire him in maybe a year or two simply because he needs better offense, but Elko is going to make this game all about defense. And I will say this, I mean, just the concept alone, we saw what he did at Duke this year. The concept alone, it's going to be it's going to be hard to score on them. It's going to be hard to score on them from time to time. The question is can he fix that secondary? Because that secondary is definitely leaky. Right. Defensive line, I think all you're asking them to do is just live up to their potential. I don't know what else you would want. I mean, out of the D line, except for, hey, every one of y'all are 5 stars, except for maybe 2 or 3 of y'all. I need y'all to play like y'all are 5 stars now. So
you ain't wrong.
I'm just saying, I think that's it, because, like I said, Elko defensively, I'm like, hey, look, he has some stuff.
He's a good coach. I don't know that it's a place that you can win.
You would just have, like I said, that's a team, especially at this stage, where they have the talent, but I think they're kind of like us in that pack as of we need to manage our schedule.
What?
No, well, I'm saying they look, when you look at the roster, they have talent. He was able to keep the talent.
Don't compare Aggie to freaking OU. What the hell is that?
What I'm saying though, Jason, is that I feel like, obviously, you just look at the roster, they have all the talent in the world.
Hey, look, they always do. That's nothing new either.
But they got to manage that schedule, and that's what I'm saying. For us, I think that's the narrative that I'm feeling more for OU, and I'm fine with that. Is that, look, I think we have all the talent in the world, but with our schedule, just looking at our schedule and on our schedule in and out, we got to manage that schedule. It's kind of like a 3-game trip every 3 games, right? For all 12 games of the season. So, I mean, for me, like I said, my main point, like when I came on here, is just simply the fact that, hey, look, SEC style, SEC ball is real, but I don't think it's anything to be scared of. I think that OU is going to be just fine. I think they have some games, but it depends, man. You never know. You never know what happens. Injuries, and then also just some teams are just not playing good, but, it's OU. They're going to give us their best game.
True.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Guys, if you love this conversation, make sure you hit that like button and let everybody know. If you're not already a subscriber to K Chris's channel, I know we are on the way to 1,000 over there.
Yeah.
He's been putting out really good content. Hadn't been inviting Jay around lately, but he's putting out good content anyways. The schedule is brutal, but here's what I was trying to explain this tonight when you guys were on there, Shawty. The difference is OU's got a better roster than everybody they play. They do.
For the most part, they really do. I think what it just boils
they may lose
down.
Some games. They're going to win games that they're not supposed to quote unquote win too. Yeah. They're going to mop Missouri's ass. I see that one coming. Mm-hmm. They're talking too much shit.
I think also with now every team having those 2 buys built into the season, that really helps as well, because it helps you manage things as well. I think that the question has been posed. You've seen it on Iker the Layman. You've seen it for a lot of on a bunch of pods as well. The question has been posed: who has to have the best winter? Hey, you know what? Screw the winter. I need winter, summer, and fall camp.
Kill it.
I gotta have it for guys like I need Gibson. I need Gibson to really snap into it and understand that this is a big year for him. I need Sawchuk to understand the same thing. I need Barnes to get that hunger back that he had to get back to tip-top shape. I know he's dealing with the injury, so what I mean is just getting back to just being elite again, which I think that he could potentially be. I mean, there's guys out there, you know, that you're hoping get that winter, you know, fall and summer. Sexton, all those guys, because I don't want to be sitting here talking about mental reps. I want to talk about real reps. I want these guys going through the entire Smitty experience this duration.
And you have enough depth that you can go full bore in practice and toughen these suckers up. Absolutely.
No, exactly. So I mean, you know, that's kind of the thing. But I like I said, I think that Latrell is going to be really good, and I think that Jackson Arnold is going to be really good too. So I'm not worried about the 6.5, 7 games. I think I honestly
think it's ridiculous.
I think we make the playoffs this year, to be honest with you, wherever that may be, whether you're first or last. I think you make the playoffs this year.
I'm not making that prediction just yet. I think if they hit 9 wins, and Shawty, you saying this, look, I think that on offense, you still have enough youth that you know, okay, Chris is putting it out there that he thinks that Jackson's going to get it done. And I believe so too. I don't think that he's on the last time you were with us. Look, I think that you don't have to be perfect if this defense takes the step forward that it's supposed to take.
Yeah.
And we believe it's going to take. So to answer your question, who's the losses on? Of course it's on the coach. It's also on this schedule. The schedule's tough. And I think that it's the games after the games and stuff like that. I think you're going to run into you're probably going to hit a landmine at some point, right? I do believe, though, I think that 9-3 is not a lot to ask for. I think it can happen. And I also think that, Hank, you just said something really, really something that most people don't pay a whole lot of attention to. The SEC doesn't have the kind of offenses, top to bottom especially, like what they're about to see.
The quarterback play is not elite in the SEC, and it
hasn't been. No, and that's because they love it that way. They like to run over your ass and just win in the trenches, which you can do that. But look, when Oklahoma gets in the trenches too, they're also going to have guys that can beat you from all over the field, just like Georgia does.
Yeah,
I think that this is where it's a lot of overlooking it, and I love it. I love it that they're freaking sleeping on Oklahoma. I love it because they're going to come in there and they feel slighted, I guarantee it, and they're going to punch some people in the mouth.
I mean, you saw it this year whenever you're ranked number 19, and then, like I said, you go out there, you're 6-7 and you're 7-0 going. Yeah, you're 7-0 before you drop those 2 games, and you know what I'm saying? Like yeah.
And look, but just to say, I mean, you know, you're asking who are the losses on, who do you blame? You can blame whoever you want. And look, he's a big boy. Coach Venables is a big boy. He knows how to win big boy football games. He's been on teams. He knows what's expected. He knows. I think he has put the staff together that he can trust in these guys. I think we hadn't got to talk about Zach Alley. What do you think about that hire?
I mean, I think it's a really good hire. Obviously, you were wanting kind of a young, energetic coach, somebody that was going to get out there. There was really no knock on Roof whenever recruits came in, but I think we were wanting somebody that spots talent and all the rest of that stuff. I remember doing a show on my pod where I talked to Jay. I think it was Jay and maybe Barry or Jay and PG. I think it was one or the other. But anyways, we talked about it, man. When I looked at it, man, he did some really interesting things. I was like, oh, okay. So it seems like that outside linebacker, I wouldn't even call it a cheetah, but that his outside linebacker is doing a lot. I mean, whether it's, you know, playing DN, whether it's playing outside linebacker or whether it's lining up with somebody and playing coverage. And I'm not talking about just like, you know, on a slider. No, I'm talking about like just outside. So, I mean, he has that guy doing a lot. Very fast paced on defense or whatnot. I'm not sure how much play calling authority that he will get, but I think that, you know, it's just, I think now to have him there it just adds something. And I think it adds something for Venables as well. Young, hungry, energetic guy. And I think that linebacker play is definitely going to improve. Like, you know, I was asking my uncle, I was like, you know, what do you do? You know, my uncle said was like, and I think this is the question I would ask the chat as well. I think we are all torn on Kennick because everybody obviously wants the kid to be successful. Everybody wants
Kennick for him to step up.
Yeah, everybody. I think everybody will want Kennick to start, but I guess the question is who really takes that? Let's just call it that Stutzman jump, right? Because Kip is going to be there. Everybody's talking about Lewis Carter. I think that we probably see a little bit of Sammy Amasigo again. I mean, see some of Sammy Amasigo.
It's time to see him, a little bit of him too. I think it is. I think you have to. Yeah. Right.
But I mean, then again, like I said, Kobe McKenzie's there. You got Danny, you got Kip, you got Kennick. So I mean, are those your four? You know, or are you rotating somebody else in? I mean, it's a great problem to have. It's a
depth, and you need that depth, and you need to. I think that they need to do that enough, and that's the beauty of Valley is that he is a linebacker coach, right? Yeah. He's going to be taking a lot of that on. I think his temperament's a little bit different than Coach Venables, which may not be a bad thing, right? But is Venables going to let him call it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the question, but I think they're going to keep it closer to Brim, but everything is going to be heavily influenced by BV anyways, with the play style, with the calls and all the rest of that stuff. I think that, I mean, obviously we all want to see him move into that CEL role and all the rest of that stuff. I think Zach Alley is going to give him that chance to do that at some point. I think Zach Alley is a great hire, man. And like I said, getting a young, energetic coach out there that can recruit. And you're seeing kind of the waves that he's making in the recruiting cycle right now, the guys that he's offering, the caliber, the type of guys. I mean, that's what you expect to be recruiting at that linebacker position. So I'm interested to see it, man. I liked his defense. If you go back and watch some of his games at Jacksonville State, just watch the highlights alone, man. They make plays. You know, obviously turnovers, different things like that. We can talk about that, but they just make plays, good tackling, a lot of that stuff. It just seems like, you know, it's going to be interesting seeing him with this amount of talent because obviously he's going to have more talent here at OU than he ever had at Jacksonville State. So it's going to be cool having it.
Facts. I agree. And but it seems like the one thing is that, you know, that you continue to hear that, hey, he's going to be able to step up and be that guy right away, right? And not have to, he's not guessing or pissing off Venables by not calling what Venables wants to call in that situation. He knows what he wants. So, you know, that's when I feel like that's a good thing. Look, obviously he has something to prove, but his defense, he was one of the top defenses in the country a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just was. So,
no, I mean, and hell, he's going to have a great chance to be able to showcase that whenever Rich Rod is your, you know, head coach / OC or whatnot. So you're going to be out there on the field an awful lot. But I mean, to have that success there, I mean, it can only translate really well for us.
Oh, so that's where you're at on it, Shawty? Real quick question here from Kim. DeBoer is a passing type coach, wants dancing bears, and Bama has huge tanks. Bama may struggle. I think that if you're going to get them, you better get them now. If you're going to get them, you better get them now. Because the guy doesn't lose football games. He just doesn't lose football games. Now, my question is, How much of it has had to do with Ryan Grubb? He's been with him the whole way. He also lost that offensive line coach with him to Seattle. That's big, but you better get him now.
And I'll let y'all do y'all thing. I won't interrupt, but I am gonna butt in real quick just to say what happened to Tommy Rees and all of this, because that where's Tommy Rees at?
Somebody was bringing him up as UCLA head coach material. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. There ain't no way. Yeah.
Okay.
You think it's about the schedule? So you think that they're guaranteed to lose 3? I think they could lose 2, but I've been picking them at 9-3. So, you know, I've got a video coming out tomorrow. I'm talking about that, the totals, win totals, and we've been talking about that here, but it'll be out tomorrow. I don't want to pump it out there today because I've got that. I got to get final approval on the commercial, so. I want to make sure that keep everybody happy at Mint Mobile. So appreciate that. You guys get over there, check that out though, man. It's cool stuff. Good wireless, $15 a month, unlimited everything for the first 3 months, man. Awesome
Plug.
stuff. Helps the program, help your pocket. Come on. So just asking, I think it's about the schedule. So where see now you gonna do the stat guy shit here, Shawty? Yeah, I'm just gonna have to send you a damn invite because you don't have to come in here. I'm not gonna sit here and, and like read it like that. I'm gonna send you a link. Come on. Where do you got them finishing?
He's saying OU?
Yeah, 9 wins, 10 wins. What? You think they're in the playoff? You said
I'd say 10-2. I definitely do. I think they're in the playoffs.
I just feel like, I mean, they've got the talent. I think that they could lose some games, but I think that they're going to win some games that nobody thinks they're going to win.
Yeah.
I really do.
Trying to think.
6 or 7 conference wins. Ooh. There's a link in there, Shot, if you want to come in. 9-3, 10-2. Yeah. That's where I've been saying 9-3. Look, you got to prove it on the field. There's no two ways around it. You got to prove it on the field. But I think this is when you can start expecting them to like take a step forward. They've been in the system this is the 3rd year. There's no more excuse about Ted Roof anymore and that he doesn't want to call things the way you do it. He doesn't ultra motivate or anything like that because the dude barely talks. So I feel like it's a good situation.
Yeah.
I do. I feel like it's a good situation. We're going to find out though. I mean, look, the main thing is that I'm just glad to be in the SEC. I'm glad that they're in the SEC now. And because if you're Oklahoma, you're supposed to play with the best, period. That's just how it's supposed to be. We grew up like that. They don't play because look, the SEC's only been the best for the last 10 or 11 years.
Yeah.
It hasn't been the best forever. The Big 12 was the best conference for a while. Yep, I agree. Jacob Smith, welcome in, bro. Welcome in. Texas manhandled Bama. OU manhandled Texas. That's right. Texas. They're not as physical as they are with some people. They're not like that with OU. OU is going to be the physical team between those two. But until I see Texas do this again and like really show that they can sustain this. I don't believe it. We haven't seen it since even Even Mac didn't keep it together every year.
No.
And Mac was, I mean, I don't have any disrespect for Mac Brown, but he didn't do it all the time. It has not been 20 years. Stop it. Stop it.
No, I think for them, I think for for Texas, I would say I think if we're all just being honest, obviously you're worried about kind of the interior D lineman, but I think honestly for Texas, the question is little of it popped up again during that too, but a little bit of it popped up again during different parts of their season this past season, but they got to be able to finish games. And I would say honestly, and I'm gonna put just always tag team those two whenever we talk, at least for this podcast purpose. But what I'm trying to say is that I think that's the narrative for both teams going into here. You got to be able to finish games. You have to be able to finish games and win those close ones.
No doubt.
You're able to do that's more of that last
year, right?
Yeah,
that's the step that we got to see you take now.
But for Texas, you're saying, look, y'all got to finish games. Y'all get pretty big leads, or y'all go up by a lot, or whatever, and then all of a sudden here we are in the fourth quarter trying to have making it a game. So you got to be able to finish early, finish strong.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. No, and that's the step. That's the step that we're waiting to see them take. I mean, you want to see them take it now. The bottom line is that you got soft in those 6 years that Lincoln was there. There's no two ways around it. They've turned it back around and they're headed in the right direction. Now it's time to take that next step forward. You guys talk all the time, Coach I and Shawty, about how when Kirby got there, he demanded it to be this way. It's the same thing that we're seeing from Venables. It's got to be this way. They brought Schmitty back. The strength and conditioning is important. The things that they're doing with everything, it's the same stuff. You have to have, and he made sure that they made those promises the same way. But he knew damn good and well that it was important that you go through and you got to be the big bully on the block.
Mm-hmm.
That's never going to be Sark. It's never going to be Sark.
I think it's just too. Yeah, I can see that. Let me ask you. Let's see. As far as going to the SEC, man, I just can't. I mean, outside of Georgia, I guess, but I think some questions.
Georgia is the cream. I'm not bad mouthing Georgia.
I think some questions, if we just want to, focus on OU and Texas, I think some things will be answered early on for both teams. For us, it's going to be, more of the same of like, hey, can you need to be undefeated by the time you get to Texas. Like, there's no excuse for it.
Same as every year, right?
I don't care about Tennessee, what they're doing, new quarterback, all the rest of this stuff. Probably his first true road game. Then also Auburn kind of is what it is. You just need to go down there and handle business. That's the best thing I can tell you. But I know Texas, I'm excited to see them play Michigan, second game of the season. I think that should be interesting. Harbaugh's going down.
You're going to find out how deep that mentality ran in Michigan too, because that would be the thing that when you start looking at those guys. That's what they did. They came in and bullied you. Everybody. They bullied you on both sides of the football. Now, what's their depth like? Because they lost a lot of cats.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon's going to do his thing, and he's going to continue trying to do it like he wants to do it. But I don't know that. And if they are that, I could see. I mean, Texas is going to go in the big house. That's got to still be Michigan's identity. Now, whether or not they're good 3 deep, we'll see.
Yeah. And Michigan, it's going to be interesting to see kind of what's happening. Who do you think starts? You think they start that? I'm not going to say that kid's last name. I always butcher it, but The kid that was that they were bringing in there for like some plays and different things, have some running packages in there for him, the quarterback, or do you think they play the 5-star that they just got?
I think that they probably bring the guy in that's going to run. Sharon doesn't care about throwing the ball. It's worked for him to not run it, to not throw it, right?
Yeah. Texas
did lose a lot too. You're right, You're right. What's up, Mars? Tebow's still, he kept him around. He kept him around. Another video that I'm going to be doing later in the week. I've been kind of working on some of the pre-stuff for it, but Caleb Williams, what is he going to be when he gets to the league? I know everybody talks about his talent, man. I saw a regression in the guy.
Oh, nah.
No. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
No, I'll tell you the only thing I'll tell you what you saw. You saw a kid out there basically, and I'll be honest with you. Let's be real.
He got bad habits, Chris. He got into bad habits of running around and instead of, and part of it's Lincoln's fault. There's no two ways around it that it's Lincoln's fault.
It's all Lincoln's fault. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I'm aware, but hey, believe me, it's one of those kind of things that you don't always shake that shit when you get shell shocked and you getting running around for your freaking life like that.
Okay, but here's the thing. Go back to OU. Okay, let's go back to OU when Rattler was struggling. Now Rattler has an unbelievable arm, and sometimes he relies too much on his talent and his footwork and different things like that could be sloppy. Just listen, hear me out, okay? Thing you got to realize is this right here. We've all said it plenty of times.
I got no beef for Caleb either, man. I like Caleb.
No. I'm not bad mouthing Caleb. I'm about to correct you on some stuff. You got to remember, we're talking about Tebow. We're talking about Lincoln Riley, who on third and one will run. He won't run like he won't even run the ball. Lincoln Riley is trying to throw the ball down the field on 3rd and 1 and cost himself. You see what I'm saying? So it's stuff like that where there's no intermediate routes. Every route is 15 yards plus. You're having to wait for them to get out of their breaks and all the rest of that stuff. So I mean, that's the thing you got to think about as well. What you saw too was without a star wide receiver, because Dorian Singer was supposed to be that guy coming into the season, never panned out, was never going to be the guy. And when that didn't work, who else are you going into? I mean, the Taj kid, the kid that number 16, I can't think of his name, but the fact of the matter is you didn't have a star receiver out there, and that's going to hurt. Riley.
And this is
that offensive line was getting beat up a lot.
Receiving core in there, you're Lincoln freaking Riley, and you can't get receivers to come out to freaking away.
But that's the thing is that, and that's kind of the knock on,
But they had the best running back in the country.
Well, Dennis Simmons, this is the knock that a lot of people have on him. OU fans, I think people in the chat would back me up on this too. Where's the progression? That's kind of the thing, the development, because obviously CD is amazing.
He didn't move forward in his development, though.
Yeah,
he didn't.
Yeah,
he had almost 1,000 less passing yards. He had 12 fewer touchdowns. He still had a good completion percentage. He still only threw 5 interceptions, but he was running for his life. And look at the games that they lost. They got the shit kicked out of them by Notre Dame, beaten to death by them.
Yeah, you would too. Like, look, here's the thing, okay? All of the same mistakes that were made here at OU by Lincoln finally caught up with him. And a lot of teams were able, they finally said, okay, this is what we're going to do. It seemed like every game they played, they were playing against Baylor because it was still more of the same. I can't put it all on Caleb.
You hit that third step and the ball's coming out. I never understood that watching SC all last year. It's one thing that they didn't run the ball enough. You had the best running back, according to PFF, you had the #1 running back in the country. And he was getting 11 to 12 carries a game. Not only that, but you've got Caleb out there running for dear life when never did you see him throw a quick slant. Never did you see anything that third step, third time, boom, the ball's out. It just didn't make sense to me. And this is a guy that we've watched be the best play caller in the country for years now. It's crazy, man.
Jason, tell me anytime that you watched a USC game that you didn't automatically know where the ball was going to go.
Absolutely.
I watched it.
No.
Yeah, I mean, as a play caller, there's still things, there's still wrinkles in there where I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I haven't never seen that. I haven't seen Lincoln do that. But as a play caller, he has become stagnant at some points. I'm just telling you now, offensive line woes, not having elite wide receivers, that spells disaster for Lincoln Riley, especially with what he's trying to do.
I'm not seeing him read the field though, Chris. That's why he's running for. He doesn't even know what his read is, and that's a problem. You're headed to the league. You're going to be the #1 pick, which means you're going to be in the game soon, and you don't know how to read a defense.
I mean, that's the knock some people have on Kyler and Baker, but I mean, I don't know. I think both of those quarterbacks have had years where, I don't know. I just think that I blame it more on system than I do the quarterback. I don't, because I think that if let's be real, Caleb would stay at OU. I don't think we even have.
Before you go to the league, you're going to get freaking completely exposed. Don't you agree? He's not equipped to leave, and he's going to go #1 and get exposed.
Look, the kid is just too talented to fail, man. I think the kid is going to be amazing. I do.
That's crazy talk, dude. Look at Justin Fields. There's a lot of talent there, and he's failing.
I'm just going to be real with you. Justin Fields is not he's not Caleb Williams, man. Caleb Williams is special. Bro. I mean, like
Caleb Williams. Hey, Caleb Williams did his thing as a freshman at Oklahoma, and he did his thing somewhat last year. When he started losing, he hasn't stopped losing, bro. In the end, when you get to where you start, you see it with quarterbacks all the time. When they start depending on their legs, this is not a good thing.
Yeah.
Not in the league, because you ain't running away from defensive tackles in the league like that. You're not going to do it. Much less linebackers. They're going to plant your ass. He's going to get hurt, man. I'm telling you. No, you're right. He did refuse to run the ball, Shawty. No doubt about it. What? What are you talking about? A movie about one of their players. Texas has a movie about a player? Which one? Johnny Manziel? No, that ain't the same though. Not quite the same. But there's other guys that, hey, look, man, there's been a lot of talented dudes that just didn't go get it done. I mean, look, Caleb Williams is certainly better than freaking some of the guys. I mean, you know, man, I'm a Niner fan, so I like Brock, but yeah, I don't know. He's got a lot of talent. But he also, the other part about him is he's freaking fragile. That dude cries too damn much. He cries too much, bro. Nah, you played basketball at a high level, Division I. What the hell would you think if your leader was crying all the fucking time?
I mean, I'll tell you my answer.
Say it. And I'm not even... Listen, I'm a fan of Caleb Williams for what he did in the Red River. I'm sick of seeing him crying.
I don't know, man. You know, media and all the rest of that stuff. I just think that the kid is just way too talented, man. I think that, look, he's going to find success.
You didn't answer the question. What would you think if your leader, and you played at a very high level, was crying all the damn time?
He'd be Cody Crybaby. If you know, you know. But yeah, he'd be a crybaby.
Bro.
We'll agree to disagree on that one, because I look, I'm gonna stand 10 toes on that, man. Okay.
I'm not saying it's not Tebow's fault. It's freaking Lincoln's fault. There's no two ways around it. We've seen it. There's no reason why that should be going on. But you watched him go from the Heisman winner easily to not in contention for it, and they went 7-5 when they started 6-0.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Imagine Bowers in the 49ers offense. It would be great. But they got a pretty good tight end coming from Oklahoma. But I mean, Brock Bowers is a bad dude. He has a chance to fail. Yeah, because he's been cuddled too long. I'm not saying anything about his talent. There's no two ways around it. He's got talent. But there's problems. He's been, cuddled is a good word. It's a good word. It's a good word.
I quit.
That crying shit gets on my nerves. And when he was literally crawled into the stands and into his mother's arm and cried like that, bro, go in the freaking tunnel for God's sake.
You're just a hater, bro. You're just a hater, man.
I'm not a hater. I will forever be happy that he made that comeback. I'm a hater of Spencer Rattler. Maybe you cried too much, but you wouldn't want to play without him. You sure, coach? Would you stop that shit if you were his coach? Would you not put a stop to that shit? Knock it off? Talent is definitely unquestioned. He's definitely got that. I'm not questioning his talent. I think he's soft though. Yeah, Lincoln broke him.
That may be possibly that. Look, we all agree on that. I think we can all agree on that.
There it is. There is the comment. That is what it is. His talent is definitely unquestioned. I agree with you, Summit Hawk. But gotta tell you, he might be broken. The dude was wearing a dress on GQ the other day. Something ain't right.
See, now you're doing too much.
I don't care. I can say whatever I want. It's my show.
You're doing too much, man. You're doing too much. Look, now I gotta be like.
I'm just playing. I love Caleb Williams, man. After what happened the Red River game, that's the greatest comeback I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was there. That shit was amazing. Yeah,
unbelievable. And I mean, and it happened like that. And we saw Spencer lose his mind 2 years in a row. You know? Oh, my All-American? Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Well, he will be taking hey, see, Shotty's saying it too. Will he be taking games off for personal reasons? You might. You gotta have a mental health day. Oh man, I gotta quit with all that stuff. Hey, what's up, man? Bishop Frank, glad to see you. Name another boss QB. Yeah. Look, people are changing. Kids are different these days than they ever were. I'm not judging him on that. It's a little weird for a lot, but look, man, the whole world is different. And it's not so much about that with me. It's more that he's crying all the time. And I think that, hey man, we're talking about the most testosterone filled sport there is. You got to get out there and freaking ball. Stop it, bro. Stop it. Oh, dude, stop it. You guys got to quit. But the crying stuff is weird. I mean, I understand you lose a close game and you covering your face. It's graduated from that where he was covering his face with the towel or leaving his helmet on or whatever. It graduated from that to crawling into his mother's arms in the stadium and bawling. It's not good, man. You guys are killing me, man. Oh, man. Shout out Soon, Texas. You wild. Y'all are wild, man. Love you guys. Good stuff. Chris, what are you doing, man? Are we done with this conversation? Where are we moving to?
I'm done with the conversation.
You don't want to talk about this no more?
I mean, that's nothing else to say. I'm right, you're wrong. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay. Well, I think it's a question whether he's going to be very good in the league. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact of what happened this year. It's not his fault necessarily.
All I know is if Jalen Hurts can have the success that he's having, I damn sure believe that in the right situation, Caleb Williams can have all more success than that. So I'll just leave it at that. Hey, so I got a quick question for you guys, SEC related, everybody in here. What are your thoughts on Nussmeier and LSU? Are we in for another year like we had with Jaden Daniels? Or, I mean, obviously he's not the runner, he's not the dual threat as much as that per se, but they were pretty excited about him from the get-go. So what is LSU? Because everybody knows LSU is basically, you know, I mean, they could be on the verge of something, but I mean, I think you got to answer. They have to answer the question about Nussmeier, and then also, how are y'all going to use Harold Perkins? Like, you just let him go. Stop trying to put him in coverage and do all the rest.
The good news is they brought in the whole new defensive staff. I think that it's over with. That got that dude fired and should have, right? Look, I don't
thought he was going to transfer.
I think the dude probably throws it a lot better. He throws it better, right? I gotta be careful what I'm putting up here on the screen now because he throws the ball better than Daniels does probably. As far as, you know, spinning it and stuff like that, but they don't have the receivers either. I don't know, man. I think that when you look at LSU though, they don't have a problem with talent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're gonna find out. I was surprised that Denbrock left and he ended up there at Notre Dame. So they got a new OC and a new DC. Mm-hmm.
Not the biggest believer in Brian Kelly, but at the same time, you just never know. I mean,
the guy's won everywhere he's been. I'll tell you that.
Everywhere he's been, yeah.
You know, and they did more. They won freaking 10 games anyway with the worst defense in the country. Maybe worse than USC's. You think he's underperforming? They won. I mean, I don't understand what they were doing with that defense. I'll give you that. But that got that guy fired. The guy that they brought in from Mizzou is probably the reason Mizzou won all those games last year. LSU's a 9-win team, Shawty says. Yeah, I think 8-9 wins.
I could see it, man. I could see it. They're gonna be tough.
I think they're always tough. It's gonna be real tough for Oklahoma because you're gonna play them at night in Death Valley. That's the one loss that I've got on their schedule. That I know for sure that I feel like that's a loss, right? I just feel like it is. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm just interested in like LSU because I think, man, they're one of those teams that could be that lightning in a bottle season type team this year, you know. And that's not to discredit. I mean, hell, they just won a championship in 2019, so we got to say that. But what I'm trying to say is that they could be that Missouri this year that nobody's really taking all that serious or accounting for. I think they could get
just like Oklahoma. I agree. I think that everybody wants to talk about Texas. I think everybody wants to talk about Ole Miss, who's never done anything, and they're acting like LSU's nobody. And Brian Kelly was winning at freaking Notre Dame. I don't know. Yeah. Yep. See. Mizzou Falls, Mizzou. This is who they are. I'm telling you, all that big mouth shit will be over with by the second month. By the end of September, all that big mouth BS coming from Mizzou is going to be quiet over there. Probably not because they got such an easy schedule, but I don't know. Big salute to Mint Mobile.
Hey, easy schedule. There's no such thing as that in the SEC. Come on, man.
Unless you're freaking Texas. Georgia got a tough schedule. Oklahoma got a tough. Hell, Alabama got a tough schedule. Florida probably got the toughest schedule I've ever seen from top to bottom. Nothing worse than a bunch of drunk Cajuns shout tiger bait in your face all night long. Sign me up, not. Man, I want to go, but I can't. I don't know. All right, you got to roll?
Yeah.
Man, we appreciate you coming in there. Brother, it's time for me to get out of here, too. I'm going to go get some food and go out to the job. But, no, man, appreciate you coming in. And
no, I won't be a stranger, bro. I've been around, just been a little bit busy,
yeah,
but
man,
no, we're going to have to
I'm
do
gonna
this
get to come
more
on your show no more, bro. It's just one of the things. You know, I've been replaced by Barry and Mac and shit, man.
Nah, bro. I'll get you, boy. Hey, but y'all, hey, for sure, definitely hit that like button on this video. Do all those things for this channel as well as the Horn Down Podcast. If you would, that'd be so great. Trying to get to 1,000 over there. But we're gonna bump out some more content, some more videos and stuff. Not any lives per se right now. Just trying to bump out some content, good content for you guys, just some videos for the vault. So definitely head on over there if you haven't, and like, subscribe, do all those things.
No doubt. Hey, man, we appreciate you coming in, K. Chris. Make sure you guys get over there, subscribe to the Horns Down Podcast. And, hey, man, we're getting him closer and closer to that 1,000 marker. It's time to get him there. We need to have him there before the season starts. So let's rock and roll. Thanks for coming in, brother.
Appreciate you, bro. I'm gonna holler at you.
Holler at you later on. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here as well. But I appreciate everybody coming in. Lots of fun. Hey, Thursday night, Coach I, myself, Shawty, if you want to, and SEC Mo will be the first episode of No Cap SEC, our new show here, right here on Hall of Fame College Football. We're going to be kind of tinkering with the format for a while, but definitely want to kick that thing off. Now that Oklahoma's in the SEC, we want to talk SEC ball. So we're going to have a new show there Thursday night, 9:30 Eastern time. That's 7 or 8:30 Central, obviously. So make sure you guys jump out here and check it out, man. We're excited about it. Again, make sure you jump over. Are you Sooner fans? Please do go over to the Hall of Fame Sooner Network as well. It's HOF-Sooner or Sooners, HOF-Sooners, and subscribe to that. We're going to start moving all the OU stuff in that direction as well. Look for it. Hey, it was fun at the end of this one. You know, we're talking a little smack. No hate to Caleb Williams, though. I just think that I am concerned about what's going to happen to him in the league, and we'll see. I think he's a great talent, but, you know, they went 7-5 this year, Coach I. They went 7-5. So singing the Texas, nah, he's going to be, hey, man, he loves Arkansas. Don't be. But, hey, it's a SEC show. We're going to talk about all of them, man. We're going to talk about all of them. So we're excited about it, man. I'm excited about the channel and about the show. We've got some more stuff coming, man. We're just going to keep on keeping on. But, guys, thank you, everybody, for coming in. No Cap SEC Thursday night, 9:30 Eastern time, right here on Hall of Fame College Football. Yeah, jump in here. Hey, Coach I, Shouty, thank you. Kim, Mars. Hey, man, we're excited to have all you guys come in. Mars Jams, Jacob Smith. Hey, Summit Hawk, glad to see you in here again, myself. Again, Thunder. You guys are all crazy, man. Love having you guys in here. Appreciate you so much. Sooner in Texas, Jacob Smith, Kim, all you boys, Hank, Sooner Legends Podcast, Eric, all you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Dalposa, appreciate it, guys. And we will talk to you on the next one.